Hey, listen up, listen in, and listen for something about real life. So I get fired up when my trailblazers reach out and they say, I have a dietitian and they told me X, and or I have somebody that told me Y, or I watched this video. And I believe the people delivering the news have the best intentions, but they don't live in real life, in reality. I should have a description so that you'll stop your scroll and you're listening to me. But sometimes I believe that this is ultimately why I do what I do. I've been in the health and wellness and now mindset business practice since 1991. And to me, that seems like yesterday. But when I started, I had hair. And when I started, I had no idea, right, that over 30 years later, I'd still be doing it and doing it better. But as I've aged too, and my sister had told me, I'll talk about my age, she told me one of the things that could hold me back is my education, because we're taught how it looks like in a lab, how it looks like in a book, but not to the 58-year-old man trying to build a business and serve, with a 57-year-old wife who works 12 to 14 hours a day in the hospital setting, to the parents of a blended family that have 5 children from 37 to 22. To aging parents that don't drive as well anymore, can't necessarily take themselves to the community center, to church, to the doctor's office. Or what about the mother of 3 who's working full time, who is a single mom, and their kids are involved in everything, and they're trying to get them to church and ballet and Little League, and she'd rather go home and have a glass of wine and sit on the couch and relax than feed the kids, do the laundry, clean the house. What about that life? Where are those people? Who's talking to them? I am. It's exactly why Tonya and I built the 75 days done right. It's the antithesis to 75 days hard, which is super intense and too many people fail. But even if you don't join us in 75 days done right, I think you should. It's going to be amazing. It's all built on repetition. That's right. Doing the same things, living a boring life that moves the needle physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I created a list. I actually wrote it here. Not everything. I just literally wrote one word to make sure that I get it and get it right. If you'd like to learn about 75 days done right, we start on August 4th. Just put 75 in the comments. I'll personally reach out. I've had many conversations. I mean, I did not know. You never know when you create something, put something out there, who's going to respond. Sometimes you get crickets. Doesn't mean it sucked. It just means the delivery wasn't right and you got to change. This one has hit a chord. And I use that pun because R.I.P. Ozzy, right? But this morning, I had a trailblazer text me and say that their dietitian said that they need to have 70 grams of protein in their shake. And I'm like, what the hell is that about? And if you're a dietitian and you believe that, tell me, prove me wrong. We can teach how much protein you should ingest every day. I teach the minimum effective dose. What do we need to do on a regular basis without overwhelm that would create a healthy biome in your body? That's it. We don't say, hey, go hit 150 grams of protein today, when you haven't been paying attention to that in the first place, and you don't even know what that looks like. Hey, you need 28 grams of fiber a day. How do I even get fiber? But when we teach you to fish, and we show up as your teacher, your mentor, your coach who pushes you and maybe makes you feel uncomfortable and you want to back off, but you do it anyway because it's the right thing and it's based in evidence-based science and reality of life, you can get it done. So I'm going to list 10 things that will allow you to live a healthier, happier, more connected life with the possibility of adding longevity, diminishing or eliminating doctor's appointments, reducing medication. I'm not a doctor. I will never tell you not to take your medication. But when you add these things into your life, my hypothesis is that you will reduce your medication dependency. You don't have to do all these. I don't want you to do all these. I don't want you to pretend it's January 1st and you go all in and then by January 17th, you're like, screw it, I'm not doing it. And overwhelm is a real thing. It's why I hate counting carbs for diabetics. Hate it. What if you set, just pick one of these today. If you're already doing one of them, pick another one and habit stack it. What if you decide what time you're going to bed and make that a non-negotiable? No screen time, turn off the lights, all my Texas friends turn on the air conditioner, and you set an alarm and you get up at that time and you start to create that habit. Non-negotiable bedtime, non-negotiable wake up time, because success comes in the consistency. Success comes in the repetitive and the habits. So your body will adapt with a target of 6 to 8 hours. Those are generalized terms, right? And that's what most people need to thrive. And sleeping is our superpower. That's where all the healing comes in. I'm using my coffee cup as my tripod. It's a unipod. It's all set it back when I was thirsty. So, does that speak to you? If so, give me some hearts and likes. Do you already do it? I had one of the trailblazers taught me how to turn off the lights on my Garmin so it doesn't wake me up at night. So I've been tracking my sleep. I actually average over 7 hours of sleep. I also know that on the weekends, I get a little bit more sleep. And during the week, especially when Tonya's working, I get a little less sleep on those nights. Some of that's based on the fact that she gets home late. We want to stay up and talk before we're both exhausted. So can you, hello, Uncle Mike. Hope you're doing well in North Carolina. But can you do that to improve your health? We're going to keep it simple in real life. I'm so tired of those people, again, to reiterate for those that are coming in, people who don't live in reality when they teach, they coach, in trying to help people improve their quality of life. So one thing you can do, I have a list of 10. Pick one to start today. Habit stack if you're already doing them. So sleep. Can you, again, add water to your daily diet? I hear all the time that I don't like water. Add fruit to it. Infused water is fine. Add it to it. And here's the deal. I'm not going to tell you to drink a freaking gallon of water. What I'd like you to do is I'd like to know your average. How much water do you drink on a 3-day basis? And then we'll go from there, and we call it the 10% rule. If you're drinking 30 ounces, I'm going to ask you to drink 33 next week. Then we'll add 4 the week after that, 10%. And in about a 10 to 20 day period, you can work your way up to about 80 ounces of water. Literally adding 4 to 6 ounces of water is like grandma's teacup, right? Remember you used to get china for your wedding for those of us that are old enough to get that? So water, sleep. What about just living? And I should take out the word just. Live in a state of gratitude. Live in a state of gratitude. Be grateful and say thank you before you put your feet on the floor for another opportunity to live today, to love, to learn, and really to experience loss. Because if you live long enough, you're going to experience all of those. Every single day. And I don't miss a day. Whether I'm at home, I'm at the Texas coast, I'm traveling, I'm leading a retreat, I'm connecting through email, whatever that is. I start my morning with a cup of coffee. Very seldom do I miss the coffee, but what I don't miss is a private internal prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call it, talking to Dad and asking him for guidance. I say 10 years ago, it's been more than that now. I just, like, my line of time stopped at 10 years. And I ask for guidance. And then I tell him when I'm done, thank you for teaching me, for loving me, even though I was often a pain in the ass and I asked a lot of questions and I still do. But then I'm going to tell him I make him proud today. And I hope today he can look up from the heavens or look down from the heavens and say, I'm proud of you, boy. That's it. So, connection with yourself, that gratitude. Can you live in a state of gratitude? It costs you this much money, 0. And remember, it's easy. But everything that's easy to do is also easy not to do. Think about that. Everything that's easy to do is also easy not to do. Movement. Can you move your body today? I'm sitting in a chair with wheels on it. I can rock back and forth. But I got up this morning, I put on my 35-pound rucksack, and I rucked 6 miles before 7 o'clock this morning. I'm not asking you to do that. But I identify as a 58-year-old healthy man. And as that, I decide I'm going to go rock. I know that we're actually going to be on the road for 7 hours tomorrow, heading up to Oklahoma for a funeral. So my whole day and weekend is going to be completely different. So I wrote a half marathon training plan for a trailblazer. I'm following it with her. And I just knew that the long ruck or run, she's running, I'm rucking, my knee just won't let me run right now, that it calls for a 6-mile journey on my own 2 feet. And I just programmed it. And as soon as Tonya left this morning to head to the hospital, I took off at 4:50 a.m., put on my headlamp, and I was gone. You don't have to do that. What the physical activity guidelines tell us is that adults between 18 and 64, I'll get to anybody over 64, Mike, we should move at least 150 minutes of what they call MVPA a week, moderate to vigorous physical activity. That's 30 minutes, 5 days a week. You should breathe slightly heavily and you should perspire. And perspiration doesn't mean you're working hard, because if I walk outside right now, it's probably 90-something degrees and the humidity is about 80% in Texas. I could sweat. That doesn't equate, except that your body's trying to cool down. Okay, maybe you're not there today. That's okay. Tanya's not there today after 2 Achilles tendon surgeries since December. But what we can do is find a mark. Can you do 1 minute? Can you do 10 minutes? Can you work to 30 minutes or more? And we gradually work up. So the idea when you're working with a professional or internally doing it, and the reason I think you should work with a professional is because if we could all do it alone, we'd do it alone. Mike taught at UNC Asheville for years. If they could have all learned physics on their own, they would have done it. But it was more exciting to be in a classroom. But we find and build that foundation, and then it's consistency, and then it's not perfection. We teach the rule of 4 of 7. When you succeed in it, whether it's sleep that I've talked about right now, gratitude, which I talked around, movement, which I'm talking about, right? Actually, I didn't even have that. I added it. Movement. When you set that mark and you're successful 4 out of 7 days, you've won the week. When you repeat that next week and maybe not the 4th week, you've still won the month because you've won 3 weeks out of 4. Now you continue that and you do that 8 months out of 12 and you've won the year. Now that doesn't mean screw off the first 120 days of the year. It just means sometimes life gets in the way. And that's what fired me up today. And I'll go back to the description, because I think some of the advice people are getting, whether it's through TikTok or Instagram or the internet or some random bullshit AI I did, right? And I think we should embrace AI for good, by the way, and that's a whole nother conversation. But it has to be grounded in reality with real people, When we look at the athlete, the pro athlete, they're outliers. Who wouldn't want to be able to play basketball like LeBron or Kobe? But most of us weren't gifted with that. That doesn't mean we can't be successful and live a great life. One of a book I've been reading by Jonathan Goodman called The Obvious Choice. And he's like, we're told we have to make $100,000. Like that's the first big mark, right? And then maybe it's $1 million and be a multi-millionaire. And he's like, what if I don't want to do that? What if I live a decent life and pay my bills? I can be home when the kids come home. I can go watch them play t-ball. I'll be there to watch them cross the stage at graduation. And I go to work and do my work and do my best work every day. And I come home to warm cookies. That's not such a bad life either. So, can you improve your sleep? Can you live in a state of gratitude? And can you begin to move your body? What about fueling your body? I have a 3-day challenge on YouTube right now, or 7-day challenge on YouTube and TikTok, and you can find out my stories. It's called Better Not Perfect. That's exactly where I come from and everything I teach and coach. Better not perfect. If you're a man or woman of faith, there's only one person ever walked this earth that was perfect, and it ain't me, and it sure as hell ain't you either. Actually, I should sure as hell ain't me, and I'm pretty sure it's not you. Is that nicer? But what if you fuel your body with purpose? Look, you and I get to eat because it tastes good. Our animals eat just to keep the species alive. So don't take that away from me. I want good food. But when you fuel your body, we can talk about protein. And by the way, if you look at snacks are declining, protein consumption's going up. And I don't really know, and I have to look for the research. And that's what my grad instructor said was it's my job to read the research, take that abstract also and reduce it so that we can put it into practicality. What's the long-term effect on your body with excessive protein consumption? I don't have that answer, but I'm happy to talk about it and learn with you. But there is a minimum effective dose we should try to get to every day. But again, if you haven't been tracking it, or you don't know what 30 grams of protein looks like, or 10 grams of protein looks like, well, let's talk about it. So tonight, it's Wednesday as I shoot this live. At 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, I host a call with my community called the Healthy Huddle. And of the 4 M's that I teach, which is mindset, movement, meals, and mission, on that Healthy Huddle, we talk about movement and meals. So exercise, although I don't want to go to the gym. I'm not a gym rat at all. Never been one. And I ran gyms for years. I want to teach you how to do it at home, do it in the built environment, and make sure it's something you can do on the road when you travel too. I want to make sure when you travel on the road, you do better. Doesn't that be great? But literally the last 2 weeks, I've taken my laptop, I've taken my camera, and I've gone into my kitchen. I've made a meal in 50 minutes while we talk to prove that it can be done. It never would really take 50 minutes. It's just that we have conversation, we talk. I turn around, I'll say, damn, I forgot to hit start or turn on the air fryer or boil the water. But it gets done anyway. And if you have an open floor plan like most of these new Texas homes do, if you want to watch TV like I do, and I always tell them, I can make all of my lunches for the week while watching or listening to halftime of football. I know it's not quite football season yet, but it will be very, very soon. So movement, nutrition, eat like you love yourself, eat in the least processed way, shop the perimeter of the grocery store, drink water like it's your job, right? None of those are inherently hard, especially for the middle class. We can teach you how to do it on a budget. We talk about it all the time. Sleep, we all need it. We all need it. Why? You're not a kid anymore. So take advantage of that. Connection. We don't need 100 friends. I don't need the almost 5,000 friends I have on Facebook, or the near 1,000 followers on TikTok, or 11 or 1,200 on Instagram, or 450 subscribers right now on my YouTube channel. By the way, if you want to follow any of those, I would love that. And I personally respond to every like and every comment. I do. It's not me. I don't outsource that at all. But about real connection, meaning not somebody you don't know, somebody you know, somebody that you can literally text today and say, hey, Mike, I'm thinking of you, and expect nothing in return. I was sitting yesterday. I just literally stopped and I took my water, and there's a public place close by. It wasn't a park, just a public bench. And I had my earbuds in. I just decided to listen to music. It was a country song, new. Couldn't remember the name of the song. But it reminded me of a buddy of mine. And I texted to him. I said, hey, man, thinking of you, brother. I think you'd like this. And his response was, yeah, I could drink a beer to this. And that's exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought. It was that simple. But it didn't have to be any great in-depth piece. One of the things we do inside the Trailblazer Nation, which is my premium coaching community, is we build connection. And we do it virtually. And then 3 or 4 times a year, I host events where we get to do it in real life. So a real hug, a real high five, a real shared meal, a real walk, a real lesson. Sometimes we have guest speakers, all those things. So we're walking in the same path. And because I went to a Christian university, we said we want to make sure we're all singing out of the same hymnal. So connection. Can you do that? None of this has to do with weight loss. Yet, when you reduce stress, reduce cortisol, if we really want to get into cellular level, that will help that if that's something you need or want to do. And when we do it long term, when we create these habits, the weight loss can become a byproduct instead of that being the only focus. Because even if you lose weight, you will always be trying to maintain your weight longer than it took you to lose the weight. Say that again. Even if your mission is to lose weight, you will always be in a state of being living longer than you were trying to lose weight, even if it takes you 3 years to lose the weight. Well, I plan on living far more than 3 years, and I'm almost 60 years old. Right? Here's something to go all the way back. If we could be kind, rewind like Blockbuster. I talked about feeding your body, right? Instead of abusing your body and buying all processed food. And you don't think the scientists know what tastes good, what's easy, what's simple, that mindset that I can pop it in the oven, microwave, get it hot. But what if you just pack your lunch tomorrow? That's meal prep, by the way. It doesn't have to be 21 meals plus 2 snacks, right? It doesn't have to be, that's 3 square meals, 2 snacks, 14 snacks. That's a lot of meal prep. But what if you pack your lunch? And then when somebody says, I'm going to X restaurant or fast food, you're like, I appreciate the offer. No, thank you. And you can still eat with them while they eat Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or whatever it might be. Carl's Jr. I don't know. And it's better on your pocketbook, even though I know that groceries are more expensive. I do 90% of the grocery shopping. Believe me, I know that it's expensive. Can you pack your lunch tomorrow? Need some help packing your lunch? Go ahead. I work from home. I didn't have anything left over yesterday. I sent all the leftovers with Tonya to work. I'm like, I opened the fridge. I'm like, I got 2 chicken breasts. I got a can of black beans. I got a can of corn. I got some quinoa. None of it was made. So I'm like, it takes about 20 minutes on 400 to cook that size chicken breast. I put some of the dry seasoning I like, boom, plopped it in. Opened a can of black beans. I rinsed them. Opened a can of corn. And we had boil and bag quinoa. That's right, 10 minutes. I was like, okay, what's a serving of chicken? 4 ounces. I literally got out my scale. I'm on a mission to learn, to grow, and to lose body fat, because I know with not being heavy at all that my potential for longevity is better. My potential to fight disease is better because I'm fueling my body is better. So I had 4 ounces of chicken. I had a 1/4 cup of corn. I had a 1/2 cup of black beans, and I had a 1/2 cup of quinoa, and it was filling as hell. And I put a little hot sauce on it because now I'm from Texas, even though I was born in Philadelphia, and I like a little spice. And you know what? I had it again today because there was leftovers. So pack your lunch. We talked about gratitude. We haven't talked about fiber. So there's a lot of this that goes with your food plan and your movement plan, because when you control them, the confidence comes higher and you physically feel better. I may tell you that women are advised to get 28 grams of fiber, and men, I believe it's 32. But I took mom to breakfast on Sunday. Her 81st birthday. Happy birthday, Mom, was yesterday. I didn't call her, by the way. I guess I should have, but I said happy birthday on Sunday in person. And she was talking about something, and I said, most fruit and most servings of vegetables have 3 to 5 grams of fiber. Look it up. I don't need an exact number. It's not really an exact science for real people, for people living, raising families, taking care of their aging parents, trying to live a job, trying to earn money, trying to clean the house, trying to wash the dog, or clean up the mess that the dog made or whatever. But if we know that is the average number, and we work our way up to getting 6 total servings of fruits and vegetables a day, you're fine. Tonya and I found this. It's called the Sangria Plum. And this is where samples work at the grocery store. I really thought they were cutting them up, putting in the little Dixie cup. I thought it was a strawberry, and I thought I'll take it anyway. And it was a plum. It's delicious. And so they're in our little wire basket, and I've eaten more than, I already ate 1. Tonya took 2 to work, and we love them. And they're super easy. They're already washed. You pick them up, you eat them. Super easy. And now I'm not going to eat 6 of them, but I'll eat 2 or 3 of them now. It's super simple. That's potentially on the low end. That's 9 grams of fiber. It keeps everything flushing through you, right? We want that. When you drink your water, if you add fiber to your diet, you got to drink water. Simple tools, simple skills, put on repeat. So let's see. Protein, fiber, sleep, water, connection. Last one. I don't even know if I've done 10. Community. Feel free, if you're an Audible premium listener, to listen to the Blue Zones book. Maybe I'll listen to it again. Dan Buettner, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I read it years ago. He's now had a Netflix series. He's got a whole series of books. I actually spoke to him on the phone, a long time ago. But his aunt was actually a volunteer at the hospital where I ran the wellness center. And this is for Dan. I mean, he had already been a National Geographic writer, photographer, videographer, I think. You'd have to look it up exactly. He'd already ridden his bike across Europe. But community is huge in longevity. Having that connection, having somebody know your name. So when I ran the hospital-based wellness center, at a little bitty coffee shop, 4 tables, coffee, a few snacks. We quit charging for coffee because we were looking for a community in the coffee shop. My trainers, my group fitness instructors, 20 to 40 years old. Most of them were in their 20s. I was in my 30s and early 40s. And when there wasn't somebody they were training, or they weren't teaching a class, or they weren't ignoring a client on the floor, right in the cardio area, the weight area, I was like, go have a conversation with them. Learn their name. Mr. Ruiz before he says, call me Mike or Michael, out of respect. So what would happen was Mr. Ruiz or Mike would go see his grandkids. And he would say, hey, Dane, I'm going to see my grandkids. They live in Pennsylvania. I was like, that's awesome. How long are you going to be gone? And they're so excited. And they would come home or come back to the gym. They called it a wellness center. And they would show us pictures and tell us. So they knew somebody would care. And having somebody that cared is huge. And if these people or any of us are single and living alone, oftentimes the only real interaction with somebody that knows who you are might be at the gym. It might be at the library. Maybe it's the barista at the coffee shop. Now, what I'm going to tell you now, this story is not a healthy habit. But the community, the connection, and the conversation, huge. Community, connection, and conversation. Community, connection, conversation. A friend of ours' dad would want to walk down to the convenience store, buy a Budweiser, and buy a pack of Marlboro Reds. Oh, and a lottery ticket. And that was his daily routine. And his daughter, my friend, would say, Dad, I can get them for you. And I was like, it's not about the beer. It's not about the smokes. And it's not about the lottery ticket. It's about walking from the house to the store and talking to the guy or girl behind the counter who knows his name. They knew who Dario was. They knew he was going to walk in at about 3 o'clock every day before the kid rushed from school, before the afternoon guy and after all the construction guys come get their Slim Jim and their microwave lunch and use the potty. Connection. That's what it's about. So my dear friends, maybe I ramble on. I don't even know if anybody's going to watch. The only way I know that you watch, it'll tell me how many views, is if you like, comment, share. And actually, if you hit the hearts and likes, I'll know that too. But this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to demystify life. Demystify what it means to be healthy, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I could be like one of bazillions of people and teach you how to do a chest press, teach you how to do curls, and teach you how to do push-ups. And I can do that, and I will do that. But it's so much more. I want to help build a relationship a foot wide and a mile deep so that you live your best life, so you care for yourself first, so that you can love those you love longer. I want to say that again. I want you to understand and learn that self-care isn't selfish when you care for you first. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you disagree with me. My buddy Brian, he'll disagree with me on purpose, sometimes just to try to piss me off and get me fired up. But that's okay. But if you care for yourself first, mindset, movement, meals, and your mission, why are you getting out of bed every day? Is your mindset positive or negative? Are you fueling your body with nutrient-dense foods? When you do that, the confidence that comes with it is off the charts. It doesn't mean you go from an introvert to an extrovert. Just means you're more confident in what you do and how you do it. When you do that, you'll live a better quality of life, and you'll be able to, again, love those you love longer. That's all of this is to say also that 75 days done right is based on all of this. And Tonya's doing it with us on her comeback mission. Tonya has been and is a marathoner. She ran 26.2 miles in Bryan College Station, Texas. We ran around Kyle Field a bazillion times, home of the fighting Texas Aggies. And we did it. And right after that, she's had multiple surgeries, and it's been a 10-year journey to get her health back. And intermittently, she's hit it, and then there's been a bam, a stop, and a bam, and a stop, and a bam, and a stop. So I asked her if she would like to do this with us, and she was like, yes. And her biggest fear is disappointing me, and she's not going to ever do that. But she is you. I believe now that I've been in this physical space, mindset space for 30 plus years. God, it's way more than that. 34 years. That people that see me often just assume I can do it because it's what I do. But when they see my wife, who's like, well, I'm Coach Dane's wife and I should be able to be better and be happy and joyous and positive all the time, and maybe that's not my personality, that might be you. And that's okay. I'm going to love you right where you are. She's going to love you right where you are. We're going to share the real, the raw emotion that comes with it all. And if that talks to you, I would love to talk to you. Again, I had more DMs yesterday than probably had in years of opening a new challenge. I believe this is going to be I'm pretty sure this is our signature program, 75 days, 10 and a half weeks, all in. Mindset, movement, meals, momentum. We take a deep breath, we review where we've been, and we reset and we do it again. We reset and we do it again. We reset and we do it again. Because that's what happens. And here's my guarantee, is when you show up, when you participate, when you listen, when you're on time, when you're coachable, you will be a different person on day 75, and then the next 75, and the next 75, until there are no more 75 days left in your life. All right, I got to go. I appreciate you. I would really love it if you would comment, like, share, drop 75 below. That's a store, right? 5 below. Just so we can continue the conversation and demystify life, demystify dinner, which is what I'm going to do tonight on our Healthy Huddle call. My friends, as you go through movement, meals, mindset, momentum, water, sleep, pack your lunch, gratitude, rest, all those things, here's the first action step you can take today. Text someone today, tell them you're thinking of them, and expect nothing in return. Adios.